Myself when I face my death, people woke up and there ain't no sorrow. Ain't no more gonna tell you that. Only reason I don't wanna give it up. Came down from the heavens above and told all the people going, this is it now. Got this trust in a life, do we make a difference? What the fuck you gonna do?
Hello, everyone. Freedom's calling you. This is the second of perhaps 3 free series of videos we're going to do to allow you to get a better grasp as to the paid series we're going to be offering that Cambell and I have been working on for a long, long time now. And today we're going to look at the topic of life's lost purpose. You know, why you would want to take such a series as Freedom's Calling You. Like, what's missing? How are you feeling in relation to your day-to-day exercises? Why would you even want to make some changes? And really, what's going on when you're not happy? Hey, Cambell, how's it going?
Good, good. How you going, Lorenzo?
Good, good, good.
It's life's lost purpose. I mean, I
Life's
think we're all born with a purpose, but then, the system does a good job on us to try and get that out of us, doesn't it? So I think that's really the baseline of all this confusion and mental issues is, it's like being a rat. We know, right? You lock animals up in cages, lions and that, they don't like it, right? They start going mental. Having issues, and that's what's happening with us. It's just that the cage is a mental one. It's not a physical cage, because they tell us what we can be and what we can't be, and if we believe that, well, we're buying into that victim mentality is really what it is.
Yeah, and by what you can be and can't be, generally they seem to revolve around two things. You know, one is making money, and the other one is maybe making a family. And there's nothing wrong with either of those things. Nothing wrong if you're going to just, if your focus is going to be to reproduce and make children, that's great. If that's what you want to do, more power to you. And if your focus is that you want to gather the coupons of the day and use that to make sure that you and your family are okay, that's also fantastic, right? But are those the purpose of your life, right? Because eventually, you won't have your job, and eventually if you have children, they may grow up and leave you and never talk to you again. And even if they do, your responsibility will be over. So what is the purpose? Why do we come here? What is your reason for being? And again, if you're happy and healthy and delighted and feeling great, probably you won't even be here listening to this, right? We'll say life's lost purpose. You go, I don't need to listen to this video. I have already found my purpose. But if you're listening and it's called lost, which means you don't have it, it might even be life's hidden purpose or life's mysterious purpose or life's unknown purpose. These could be other titles for this particular chat we're doing. What is even a purpose? What do you think? Let's talk about purpose.
I mean, I would say that we're all created by the creator. We're a lot more than they tell us, right? So we all do have, worth. We've got purpose. We've got stuff to do down here. No matter how you look at that, at least to help ourselves grow. I think everyone could agree on that that's at least a purpose, if not something bigger. But of course, the system don't want us to go, to live out our life's purpose, right? To live to our full potential, because then we're uncontrollable. So they put us straight to school. We've got all this stuff. What do you want to be when you grow up? And they're not talking happy. They're saying, what job? What part of the system, what cog do you want to be when you grow up? So we're not even, from day dot, we're not taught to expand and to think and go into our imagination and wonder, what is it that we want? Where do we want to be? What could we achieve? And then, of course, the people who do start to work that out, they're immediately told they're silly. And who do you think you are? Why are you special? You couldn't do that. And then at the same time, they put these people on pedestals. Look at this amazing person. Look what they overcame. Oh my God, they just kept working and they got whatever they wanted. So we've got this, this duality, right? They tell us, yeah, you can have whatever you want. Look at that person. But when you start doing it, they go, well, you can't do that. And so we have these, and I think that's what starts to create this, this voice in our head, which is called the subconscious, which we were just having a chat about. Is what is this subconscious? What is it? Why does it have power over us? Does it only have power over us because we believe it does? But I mean, the thing is, as well, is that we're told that we can't really affect it. That's just your subconscious. That's just the way you are. That's just your running system. But of course, if that's true, that's the only thing that we need to focus on changing.
How did it become we also talked about this. How did your conscious become sub or below, as submarine below water? Like, was it always that way? Did you push something below? Are you hiding something? Are you afraid of something? Are you, wanting to move in a certain direction, but being stopped for whatever reason? And any other barriers, let's say, that you've put in your way for becoming the kind of person you may be looking to do. When I say life's lost purpose, kind of, I've heard the most intelligent answers are the ones where you already, questions are the ones where you already have the answer. And I already know life's lost purpose is freedom. That's just my opinion, right? So everyone wants to be free if they're not. So perhaps life's lost purpose is, how do you get to this freedom that you're missing? What is it for you? How have you discovered or undiscovered something that maybe has been missing since you've been little? Since, as Cambell said, your subconscious, how did your conscious become bifurcated, let's say? What happened along the way?
Yeah, we're going to get into personas and all this kind of stuff in the course that we're doing at the moment, and that's really kind of what's going on, I think. The subconscious is your conscious with the mask over the top. That's why it's below. It's below the persona, right? And the persona is not really you. The persona is the you think you need to be to make other people like you, right? To fit into society. That's your character, So yeah, and by doing that, then we're pushing who we are below, and thinking of it as sub, and that's the spell, right? It's below. It's not that, it's either not that important or it's something that you can't affect that much, which are both obviously not true. So, this whole thing of, people saying, the chatter in the mind, and when you get rid of the chatter in the mind, is that just getting rid of this persona, this mask that's lying over the subconscious? So you're no longer having this conversation between the conscious and the subconscious, right? I want to do this. No, you're not that good enough, but I can. No, you can't. Because that's kind of what, there's a conversation going on, right? So you need kind of two perspectives.
Maybe even three perspectives, because if you're watching, maybe even three. I mean, you say there's a yes and there's a no when you're living in duality, and there's a yes and no to pretty much every question, and you have good points and bad points, but maybe there's another point, right? A point that's beyond your thought process, right? And in my opinion, when you decide and you look at subconscious, I'm still looking into my head right now. I'm going, oh, my conscious, what I'm thinking about, what's there and what's below there. And even that could be a trap. I'm thinking, if you look at life's lost purpose, maybe getting just into your intuition and your imagination, or beyond anything that's conscious or subconscious. Maybe you've got to become super conscious, and move beyond. I mean, it could be like the woo-woo or the new light or the new age movement that seems to have trapped so many people. I think it's because, they tell you destroy your ego, and maybe that's a distraction, because you can't really destroy what's part of you. You can use it though. Or, don't go into the dark, go into the light. But, why is there dark? Why is there light? Maybe you can use those. Maybe you've been in a bad relationship. Now you could be in a good relationship, when perhaps the real answer is your relationship to yourself, right? And again, maybe you've had children, and then maybe you're trying to figure that out. But maybe, as I've discussed in some of my videos before, maybe you're the child you're trying to raise. And then perhaps, you're learning how to raise a proper child if you have something outside of yourself. Like, let's say you have children, but maybe the real answer isn't, I want them to have a better life than me, so that I'm just giving and sacrificing, which sure, but what you're really saying is, I'm taking my responsibility for a better life and I'm giving it to someone else. Now, I'm not saying you don't want it, but I don't want any weird comments saying I don't think you should be a good parent and have good relationships with your children and all that, because that's great. What I'm really saying though is, at the same time, you should be looking to raise yourself, right? To give yourself a better life, to understand yourself through the love maybe you have for raising children. Ooh.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. You can do the same actions, but have a different perspective, or a different intention. So, you can want to, give, your children, for example, the best, life, the best environment, and you work hard and all this. And you have the choice of saying, look at me, I've sacrificed so much. Oh God, which is really, like poor little me, right? Or you can say, look at me, I've gone out and done this, and I've shown my kids what it takes to get what I've got, and I've done it, and through that I've taught them, which is a completely different, it's the same actions, but you're coming from a place of empowerment, right? It's not poor little me, I'm a slave and I've done this just for other people, and I've sacrificed my own life and existence because I'm such a martyr. which you're not. I've got to tell you, because you're going to die sad, and on your deathbed you'll be going, well, what was that all about? But yeah, you can come from the other perspective is I'm going to do this anyway, so I'm going to do it well. I'm going to, anyone who wants to watch what I do and learn by example, then awesome. But also you got to understand that if you do that and your kid turns out to be an artist or something completely different than what you want, then that's their life. You have to let them, because if you don't, that's your ego again. That's your conscious fighting with your subconscious, right? I need to be, first. I need to be put on the pedestal for my sacrifice. How dare those kids not understand the sacrifice I've made so they can have a good life. That's just a story, and it's not a good one.
And the reason I think Cambell and I talk around things a lot in these videos is everyone's path to their purpose is unique. You could say freedom, but there is as many roads to freedom as there are people that are currently alive, in my opinion. And you are the path you've walked. So if you're not happy with where you've walked, you are the person that has to walk back or walk somewhere new, or perhaps you have to do both, walk back and then walk somewhere new, would be my understanding of things. So again, having the answer to the key, what is life's lost purpose? I would say you are life's lost purpose, in that you've lost yourself, or you've lost bits of yourself along the way. And the series that Cambell and I are doing, and we're currently, and it's not easy, like Freedom's calling you. We've been sitting with it. Cambell and I have gone back and forth and discussed how we're going to present it, how we're going to share with it, because we know it's not easy. Like the simplest terms are the hardest to accomplish sometimes. Just find yourself. Just walk backwards. Just fix whatever problems you've made. And if it was easy, it would be easy, but it's probably the hardest thing you're ever going to do, but perhaps also the most worthwhile thing you're going to do.
Just go inside. Just do the shadow work, Lorenzo.
Yeah,
come on,
yeah.
come
Just
to me in a week.
kill the ego and walk to the light and only have good thoughts and put on some yoga pants and dance around with the trees and eat your granola and you'll be all right.
Yeah, you will. You will. And this is what self-help became. It was the weirdest thing. Like, there was a couple of good books written about by people who actually changed their lives, right? They started off poor, they changed their life, and then they wrote a book about what they did. And then we had a million people basically just rewrite their books with different words in them, right? And these people had never done anything, and their claim to fame was, I wrote a book and now I'm successful, so I'm going to show you how to be successful. And so we had this industry of people that were charlatans. These weren't business people. These weren't successful people. These were people who were stealing other people's ideas and marketing them, and they didn't care about the results. It was so, this needs to change. This is what we want to do things differently. We don't want to be up here going, oh, everyone needs to be like us, because no one needs to be like us. No one needs to be like you, and this is the thing is, if you start telling people, how to be happy, how do you know? What makes them happy is different to what makes you happy. So all we can do is teach perspectives. And yes, you have to go and do the work, but, we want to provide a platform, a step sort of by step thing, because there's so much of this, just go and do that. And they give you these massive concepts. And half the people, feel silly, it's like, come back to me when you've done this. And if you don't understand it, you're not going to go back and, so yeah, basically we're working on a course that's going to be coming out, but this is what we want to get across is this is all about you. All these excuses and stuff, it's just a game. It's just all a game, and we can spend as long as we want playing that game, or as little time as we want. We can jump down the hole and see what happens, or we can slowly, dig down and uncover what's down there, which is really, uncovering, like taking the mask off, going into the subconscious and making that the conscious again. So yeah.
And it's not really about us telling you what to do. It's not really about anyone telling you what to do. That's, I think, the problem with a lot of the new age stuff is so many people want to be told what to do. Here's your guide to being free. Here's your guide to being wealthy. Here's your guide to the miracles. Here's your guide to the law of attraction. Here's your guide to this and that. And really, we already all have our inner guide, our inner guidance systems. We're born with it. The spirit, God, Buddha, whatever, doesn't make any, Muhammad, whatever you want to call your God, doesn't make a mistake, in my opinion. If God is perfect, you were born that way as well. But we develop what I read about this morning, and I'll read them now. I'm kind of looking at it, a defensiveness, a hardness, a fear, a vanity, and an ignorance to good information that comes your way. And Cambell and I are going to tackle all of these topics, in that what we're sharing really, and the trick in being free, is we're not telling anybody in some ways what they have to do. It's kind of more like what you shouldn't do, right? And when good information comes your way, to notice your vanity, to notice your ignorance, to notice your defensiveness, to notice how you're wrong, right? And to allow that to inform how you can move in a different direction, right? And to understand that there's actually a beauty in all the mistakes. As Campbell has said, it's not a mistake, it's a mistake. There's a beauty in having been ignorant. There's a beauty in having been a sinner, if you like. God loves a reformed sinner, I've heard, right? If you were always good, you don't really have that strength of character. Like rich people, they always seem to be rich because they never had to work for their money, right? They never had, so they've always got it, so you take it for granted. If you were always good, people are going, why isn't life better? Why aren't we born into heaven? Why is there so many wars? Why are families fighting? Why is the government taking away my money? Why are they insisting I take these medical procedures, like all these bad things supposedly? And I would say these are all challenges that we've all asked for, because here we are taking full responsibility for these crazy last few years, for the crazy time we are, for the crazy family you have, maybe for the lack of, fill in your own blanks, what you have a lack of, and what you don't have a lack of, and go, okay, well, why did I ask for this in my life? And if you're going, it's not my fault, I didn't ask the government to do this, and I didn't, then right away I would stop, maybe turn this video off and go to a new age channel. And allow them to
coming to save you.
And allow them to channel, the archangel Bubahana to give you the 6 rules you need, and then you can go back to having your coffee and cupcakes, and or having your beer in sports channels, whatever makes you happy for the weekend. But if you're ready to sit there and go, all right, why is there this kind of politician in my country? Why am I unhealthy for whatever reason? Why are my children this way or that way? Why are my relationships like this? Without saying it's their fault. As soon as you get to it's their fault, right away, go the other way and go. And could just be a game for you, right? How to find life's lost purpose. Say, how could this be my responsibility? How could this be my fault?
Yeah, don't be so hard on yourself. Life's just a game. Don't take it so seriously. We all end up in the same spot. And all these perceptions we have of other people that we think they think about us, then none of them are true anyway. And the only way to learn and to grow is to be wrong. How can you possibly learn if you're always right? And another saying, I like my sayings, is, and something I sort of try to hammer into my kids is, know-it-alls, right? Are the most stupid people on the world. The most ignorant people that you'll ever find is a know-it-all, because clearly no one can know everything. But if you think you know everything, you can never learn anything. So don't be a know-it-all. A know-it-all is just telling the world how ignorant you are. I refuse to learn because I'm perfect and you should all change and listen to me, which is that little voice that most of us have that stop us doing things. We want to be right. But I mean, in the long run, and most people listening to this video are going to have some life behind them, right? Some experience. We know what do you want? Do you want to be right in your head, or do you want to be happy in your experience? Because this is what people are trading. They want to be right. How dare they say that to me? Oh my God, I blah, 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 blah. But really, 20 years down the track, you're the same person, the same, reality, right? And you're still unhappy. So that's your choice. You can choose, and that's the one thing. If you choose to do that, then good luck to you. That is your choice. You can do that. But if you want to change, it's time to get real. You're your only problem, and you are also your only solution.
100%. I mean, understand what you like and why you like. Like, why do you like Tartarian history? I've asked myself that. Why do you like giants? Why do you like magic? I like science fiction books. Why do you like reading about heroes? Why do you like romantic stories, if that's what you like? Why do you like mystery? Really, up to you. And like, why do you like those? Will maybe give you some information about how you're actually secretly yearning to be. Not to read another mystery novel, not to maybe dream of the past. I mean, I used to look at a lot of the Tartarian buildings. I went and took some pictures. Cambell and I are doing a series, Japanese Tartaria soon, Tartarian Japan. And so I'm looking at all these old buildings, here in Osaka when I was walking around yesterday, and I'm looking at the canals and the old brickwork that's obviously out of place. That this will be a video for another time. It doesn't belong there. But I'm going, well, I'm dreaming of a better world. Okay. So I'm dreaming of a time when there was more abundant energy, or there was more beauty. Let's say some of these buildings are showing, or we were more harmonized with the energies of the world, and maybe free energy. Maybe we didn't have to poo, as some of them say. We just farted a few times and got on with our lives. I've seen all those videos, but what I'm really looking at is, okay, I'm missing the kind of life that would have been afforded to me or given to me if I'd been living in this kind of a world, right? If I'd been living in this mystery novel, right? If I'd been living in this heroic, if I knew how to fly. I used to read manga or superhero comics all the time, right? And if I knew how to have free energy, or if I knew how to have, fill in your own blanks. So I'm going, it's not like I'm missing it. I'm going, oh my goodness, I hope they put out another mystery novel for me to read tomorrow because my life sucks, right? Or I hope they do another Tartarian on Japan because this is so interesting. I want to learn more. I mean, all that's fine, but it's more like I'm looking now, okay, so how am I going to live this kind of life? And not only waiting for someone to rediscover all these lost technologies, right? Or rediscover all the lost energetic systems, or rediscover all these things. It's like, how do I rediscover what I'm missing for myself right now, right here, today? Why is my life such that I feel these things are missing? Why am I attracted to them? And how can I make them? I'm not going to go out and build a Tartarian, 22-story, megalith, but I may learn how to be the kind of person that would live in a higher, energetic, more loving, beautiful, abundant society by making myself someone that would fit into that. I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to deserve what we want. Right. Clearly, if 100 people or 1,000 people want the same thing and there's only one of those things, well, who gets it? The one who deserves it the most, who's put the most work in. But this is the thing about, this whole Tartarian research is, what's the feeling that you're after? What are the values that you're after? What do you really see in that? What lifestyle would make you watch your last video? And then you're like, okay, now I'm off because I don't need that anymore. And for obviously Tartari, a lot of that is, the freedom, not having to pay to live, the community, all this kind of stuff.
Right.
So this is all stuff we can start working on now.
Right.
Okay. Because we don't want to be sitting on the couch waiting for Jesus or the aliens or whoever it is to turn up and go, I'm here to save you. What do you want? Give me your 3 wishes. Everything's going to change, because that has never happened and that will never happen. Okay. That's called that's a trap, right? That's just something that's said to get people to not take action. So yeah, this is the thing. We need to act, right? We need to stop reacting and start acting, and start going, well, this is what I want. I love the free energy. Okay, I can get some copper. I can start working and teaching myself how to build machines. I want the community. I can go out and start groups. I can teach people how to plant food. I can do whatever. Whatever it is, you can do something.
Whatever it is.
Right now, you can do something. And what did I hear yesterday? It was awesome. You can either do it one day. No, well, your dreams can come one day, or today can be day one. Right? So what are you going to do? You're going to put it out there, one day, or it's like, no, today's day one, which means it starts now, which means you act now, which means by tomorrow you're in it.
Yeah, I mean,
and you have to start. Yeah.
I mean, I've wanted to meet better men, stronger men, better people, more loving people in my life. I spent the same amount of time as maybe you looking for these communities, traveling around, intentional communities, hippie communities. I tried, tried this relationship, this family, this way of life. Then I realized, what I'm missing is myself. The kind of person that could be in these communities, the kind of person that will live, as a selfless being, the kind of person that will live as a loving being, the kind of person that will, sacrifice what they need to sacrifice to make a better world, so that, the next person is as happy as you are, let's say, for lack of a better way to put it. And to understand how I can, in my own way, make that real. And if I'm only living with one other person, or if I'm living with 100 other people, even if I'm by myself for the rest of my breathing days, that's okay, because I'm becoming that kind of person that I can live with. I could stand to be in the room with myself. Yeah, I can stand to be with myself. And exactly. And by the only way to do that is to understand, though, how I haven't been able to stand with myself. In other words, finding my own weaknesses, my own bad parts, my own stinky parts, my own shadow side, and not to throw it away or kill it, like they say, kill the eagle, but to understand, so that the next time, it starts to stink, I go, well, I'll just clean that up a little, or I'll just go this way instead, or I'll just be a better person. And in my opinion, that is life's lost purpose. We are life's lost purpose. We've lost ourselves along the way, and here we are trying to get back there. And Cambell and I are doing a series of videos. We're in the process of putting it together. We're in the process of intending them. They're not going to be free because they can't be free, because being free, while it's free, still costs everything, right? You got to give up who you are to become someone new. And we're putting it together such that it's as cheap as possible. It's worth probably 100 times more than we're going to be charging for it, whether we charge $100 or $500. It'll be priceless, and that's fine, or thousands of dollars. But we're setting it up in such a way that anybody who wants to can afford to be part of it. There'll be the option, and it won't be free, of interacting with us for Q&As as well. Some of you will be lucky enough to be able to get into that limited space class, we'll say, as we'll be lucky enough to get a chance to interact with you. And, it'll be a work in progress, as we're a work in progress, as we delineate this and put it together and share it with you. And what I'm saying in this long little bit of a rant here is info@newagora.ca. Send us an email if you're interested. We'll send you more information. We're going to record the first one in a few days. We're looking to get the first one out and ready for your enjoyment and interactive participation soon after that, definitely within this month. So if you have an interest and you want to join us, send us that email. We're happy to have you along for the ride. But remember, nothing worth having in this life is free, even though everything is also free. It's an interesting conundrum and contradiction, and yet there isn't. Yeah, and yet there isn't. Yeah.
Even things that seem free aren't free, and that's not how this realm works. That's not how nature works. That's not how anything down here works. Sorry, that was a very big loud motorbike. That's not how anything down here works. Everything down here works by an exchange. Everything's an energy exchange. If you think that you're down here just to get everything given to you for free, that's a problem. And if you think that you're not worth putting money into, that's a problem. So just understand that you can spend your life doing all the free courses, but they're not going to get you anything. And this is not going to be a Tony Robbins get 10,000 people in a big room, charge them 10 grand each, yell at them for 8 hours, and then send them off home again, right? We want to actually do something real, get past all this crap that was going on for the last 20, 30 years, and get real and start getting affecting some real change in people. So if you're interested, as I said, there's links below. Click on them, and it'll all be coming out over the next few weeks.
So remember, even breathing is an exchange, right? You breathe in, you breathe out. Eating is an exchange. You eat in, you poo out. If you make a baby, the energy comes in, the baby comes out. If you're a woman, if you're a man, the energy goes in, the baby. So everything, while we're in these bodies, maybe eventually you're free and then you're just floating in energy and everything's fantastic. And that's where you go when you leave the body, which is fine. I've heard you can get there. A lot of work involved, especially once you come here. But everything is an exchange, because that is the dream we're in currently. And it's not a bad thing. It's just giving us an opportunity to learn the right things to exchange. Like if I'm going to give up my bad habits, and my bad thoughts to get an exchange of freedom, fantastic, right? That's my exchange right now. And because I had to do the reverse before. Maybe I was born with all, and I had to give up my good ideas to make a living. As Cambell said, I had to give up my energy to do this. So now I have to go backwards. But that's an effort, and that's where I'm going to get strong, and that's how you can get strong. And we'd love to have you along. It even rhymes a little bit, but once again, participation is required, because there can't be. It's not that we're being mean when we say there's no freeloaders on this road to freedom. It's impossible. Everyone's got to move themselves there. So it's just a simple act of understanding. You made yourself unpurposeful, unhappy, unfree, fill in your own blanks, unhealthy, whatever, unfulfilled. I've talked and I've talked about myself, uncooperative, whatever it is for you. So only you can reverse that.
Exactly. And that's the good news. Yeah.
And that's the good news.
Yeah. Like Dr. Wayne Dwyer said, it's an easy job if you have to change yourself, but if you have to change everyone else, well, good luck changing 7 billion people to make yourself happy.
Yeah.
Much easier to change yourself, right?
And
And just as a last thing on all this money, not that out, not that we're going to be charging, high prices or anything, but if there's something you want and it's you think it's out of your reach and it's too, expensive, maybe think about why that is, because all that's really saying to you is you're not yet in the position where you deserve that. So all it's telling you is you need to do a bit more work. If you wanted, even if there's something you want and you think, oh my God, it's overpriced, but I really want it. Well, do what you need to do to deserve it. Okay. Because everything's a perception. Some people will go out and pay 100 grand to have an hour with talking to someone, and most people that to them that concept is just too far out there. But if you're into if you know that that's going to be worth $1 million, then you're going to do it, right? So I just want to say that of all this personal growth stuff, and obviously it all costs money. Turn yourself into the kind of person that can afford it all, that sees it all as valuable, and that just there will change your life when you start to become the person that you can spend money on yourself, you can spoil yourself, you can put money into who you're becoming, because this is the biggest we people don't do this, right? It's all, people will go out and buy exorbitant presents for other people and spend all this money. When it comes to themselves and especially their education, which is their real life, I don't want to spend anything. And that's a self-value problem. You don't value yourself enough.
and it's part of the new age trap, I think, as well, where people go, oh, this is supposed to be free, that's supposed to be free, but it's okay to go and pay $10 for a watermelon in the store or whatever. And it's probably the opposite. Like, food is supposed to be free, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You can see nature grows it. You throw a seed in the ground, throw one seed in the ground, you get 100 watermelons, right? You look at a plum tree, it's full of 2 million plums, right? Nature, we're backwards. We've been taught that we have to buy a life, or we have to buy energy. The sun gives you the warmth for free. There's nothing but free energy machines out there. There's nothing but abundant food. There's nothing but abundant water. I mean, used to be from Canada, where there was water more water than you wanted. You couldn't walk down the road without falling into a lake or a puddle. Right. And, so we've been taught backwards. It's like what we'll put our money into, like a fast car or a vacation to Hawaii or a fancy lobster dinner where somebody, gives you really a $10 amount of food for $1,000 because they tell you how fantastic you are, with a bottle of wine that you don't really need anyways. You'll pay the $500 for that. But if someone says we have a course and it's going to cost much less, you go, shouldn't it be free? I can't believe, so, and I'm going to say the bottom line here. You don't need us. You don't need anybody. If you really come to this and go, I'm just going to do it myself, fantastic. That is awesome. Don't listen to another video. Don't send us any money for our course. You don't even have to come back ever again. I would be the happiest man in the world to meet you one day if you're genuinely, artistically, energetically a strong, powerful man or woman, and you're free. I would be delighted to have you as someone that I could interact with. If that's the case, amazing. I'd be so happy for that.
Yeah. Because in the end, this is our interest. Obviously we've been working on, finding what's going on down here in most of our lives, and we're just passing on, the information. But ultimately, we'd rather that we didn't have to do this. Ultimately, we'd just be rather living our best lives, right? But we understand there's a journey, and we have to become people before, we have to deserve that, right? And so this is part of our journey. So, yeah, whatever you want to do, guys, it's up to you.
Yeah.
You have a choice. You don't have to grow. You can grow. But what I would advise is, get out of the blame game and, I can't do this because, and I can't do that because, and poor little me, because that may make you feel good in the moment, or a false good, but I can guarantee you're not going to be feeling good if you're in the same place in 10 years.
Yeah. So if you want to do it with us, that's great. Cambell could be doing his vocation. I could be doing my vocation. We could both be earning the coin of the day instead of this. But for some reason, both of us have decided, as hard as this is as unrewarding as it can be in some ways, especially for the hours that are put into it and the rewards that have come so far, both of our hearts have said, I would rather help people grow, let's say, than potatoes grow right now, even though some people are maybe like potatoes. Let's say, I know I've been that way. I've been a potato. I would rather share freedom than share, financial advice. That's something I used to do. Cambell would rather maybe help people build themselves than build sheds for rich people that can afford him in wherever he's living. So we're doing this. This is how we make our living. So, we're not being mean or anything like that. We're just saying fair value for fair effort. We're happy to help you. We'll probably give you more than you give us. I know us as loving men, we've already given more than I've gotten in so many ways. So, we'll leave the links below. As Cambell said, I'll link this as well to the other video we did on Freedom's Calling You. I wrote an article. We'll write another article. There'll be a couple of ways that you can get a bit of a gist as what we're going to share. And if you want to join us when we get our first one out, we're going to talk about the persona. We've already decided the first topic, how you became who you are. That'll be the first video we're going to record this week and get it all together. And then we'll be ready for you over the next week or two. And we're happy to see you there.
Indeed. So all the links are below, guys. So thanks for joining us. Make sure you give us a like, a subscribe, and share this around if you think it's good content. And of course, stay awesome, and we'll talk to you all on the next upload.
Yeah, love you very much. Thanks for being here.
Bye for now.
Freedom, 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 yeah. Freedom, freedom, freedom is calling us. Freedom, 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 yeah. Freedom, freedom, freedom is calling us. Freedom, 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 yeah. Freedom, freedom, freedom is calling us. Freedom, 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 yeah. Freedom, freedom, freedom is calling us.